It's your boy, TS, from the Chronicles of Podcast, and I'm here outside the Temple Bar in Dublin, Ireland, because these are the Chronicles of Dublin Crust.
It's going to be a number one hit.
Dublin Crust is basically, I've been a punk drummer all my life. I played in loads of bands, but one in particular was a band called Mongo Horn, who were never famous but notorious. So we used to sell out every venue, but we also used to get barred from every venue because the singer Eddie is just an absolute lunatic. So it's very loosely based on that band, but it's an accumulation of other bands that I was in and just the music scene in general. But the whole point of the film is you don't have to like punk music or even be into music to like it. It's a story of it.
Well, we all used to be in a band together. Like me, Andy and Baz used to be in an actual band together.
Okay.
Back in the day. So a lot of kind of what happens in the movie has happened, and so like there was a few stories. Maybe I don't know whether they've been cut or not. They might have been cut. They might have made the edit. Like, we were a fairly notorious punk band back in the day. So like some of it is from that,
okay,
and some of it is other people that we've interacted with in the scene and stuff like that. Like,
you played in a little band. How fun!
On the 15th of December 2022 in County Wicklow, Ireland at the Whale Theatre, our very own Tom Stevens was lucky enough to attend a private screening for the upcoming movie from writer and director Baz Black. Tom got to speak to the cast and crew to find out all about the movie that is Dublin Crust.
I don't think I can do this, man.
What? Why not?
I actually think I'm going to be sick.
You will be bloody sick if we don't get this cash for the fix. I'm telling you, it's an easy number. There's no security guard.
Let's meet some of the wonderful cast and crew of Dublin Crust.
I'm Eddie Nill. I play Eddie in the movie.
Oh, lovely. Inventive, I love it.
I'm Andy Bourne, and I got to play Andy in the movie.
Wonderful.
And this is
Alex Maloney, and I got to play
the kid.
The kid with the attitude.
I love that.
The kid with the attitude. Well, I play the singer in the band.
Okay.
So I kind of hate Baz.
Right.
In real life as well.
Sorry, Baz.
No, I don't mean that at all. I think for a time he might have thought that, like, but I don't actually. No, I love Baz a bit. Yeah, so we kind of have a sort of. I think we're supposed to have a redemption story. You know?
Okay. Awesome.
I get to play Andy the guitarist from Crust back in the day, but I'm a car salesman. And who likes a car salesman?
Not happy with that job role.
Nobody.
No.
Yeah.
And he's the bad guy.
And Alex is the bad guy.
He's the bad guy in the movie.
So the villain in the film, yeah?
My name's Colleen Keogh, and I play Lizzie Dunn in the film.
Yeah, so she's I play a Scottish person, obviously in the movie, and Lizzie just kind of comes on board, I suppose, to promote everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really trying not to go.
It's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah, really difficult.
This film's not out yet, but can we talk about it, please? Let's get everything out in the open now.
My name is Paul Fitzgerald, and I play Mickey Flynn. So there's the lads, there's the band, and Mickey is the wheeler and dealer, the roadie of the band. So I'm the reason they're in this venue. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you need, Mickey get it done for you. The Del Boy of the group is Mickey Flynn. Yeah.
I'm Will Morgan, and I play Jeremy. So I'm Andy's boss.
Okay.
So I'm not too keen on him skipping out of work to go to rehearsals and stuff. So the fact that he's in a little band that he didn't tell me about. So I'm a bit it's more important that he stays in work because sensible job rather than
absolutely ridiculous, crazy.
There's no money in the bands. Cars should be sold.
Pie in the sky. That's
the part was, Baz had said it's kind of like a little comic relief in the thing. Had roughly described the scene, set me on the sides, and when I, in my head, because he was called Jeremy, I said I'll give him a little tash, and a bit of a twat, and so I had a bag of cashew nuts. And so I used those in the audition, and I had him eating the cashew nuts and just kind of throwing them on Andy's desk and going, he'll clean those up. Bit of a douche. And so Baz says he enjoyed that little tweak. And
It's the little things, isn't it?
The little things,
it's very easy to stand and be like, oh yes, lines, blah blah blah.
I am Jerry Cannon. I play the part of Ian, the record company executive. And I'm also one of the executive producers on them.
Okay.
So this Ian character, Ian McCarthy, is the record company executive who didn't sign the band Crust first time around.
Right.
So now he's back over from Glasgow to have another look and see if he can sign the deal that he did 10 years previously.
Mike Timms, and I play Judge Francis Shaw with 2 court scenes in the movie. Judge Francis Shaw, very small part, but I think it's crucial because he is the kind of yardstick for what mainstream society is, and how the court scenes, you measure the mayhem of Dublin Crust against the court scenes and what the court and the judge stand for, because they represent mainstream society, and I think it's a nice kind of contrast. Well, I hope. I haven't seen the film yet, but you know.
No problem. My name is Leanne and I play Tracy. My role is to be the mediator between the madness of everything that's going on and try to be the person of logic amongst people who are, having tumultuous relationship.
My name is Rob McCarthy and I play the band manager Jerry. Basically I would have been close. Jerry would have been quite close to the guys growing up. He would have played with Eddie's brother. So he kind of had he's very fond of the guys. So when Jerry was asked to help try and turn Eddie around and get him back on board and get him, even to sit down with Bonehead and discuss the idea of getting the band back together. So that's kind of my role, and then keeping them under control was one thing, but
my name is Barry John Kinsella and I play Jimmy.
Lovely stuff.
And I play the Red Devil on Baz's shoulder. I'm the part who's tempting the lead into trouble. Just
right.
Just come on, just come on. This way. The first one's free. It doesn't count. You're all good. Come on. So I play that character. So
wonderful stuff.
It's good fun.
Joe Rooney, and I play the bassist in the band. I can't remember his name.
Terence.
Yeah, Terence. Terence. It's been a while. Yeah. Well, Terence is a bit of a tough nut in a way. He's breaking up with his girl, and he's not happy.
Okay.
And he's dealing drugs on the side as well. So
Terence.
He's a little bit of. He's got a lot going on inside, a lot of frustrations and things aren't going well for him. Not really much crack, really, to be honest. Terence isn't like the rest of the lads are a bit of a laugh. I don't think Terence is at all. He's a bit serious.
My name is Louise McCann and I play Tanya. Tanya is Terence's ex.
Okay.
And she is the mother of his child.
Okay.
And they have a complex dynamic and relationship, and that will be shown in the film without giving too much away.
I am Simon Moore and I had to laugh at shopkeeper when he got fired.
You just laugh at him?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that? Did you want to hear any abuse or anything like that? Go on.
I just said rude stuff.
Just
shout, laughing.
Hello, my name is Baz Black and I am writer, director, and I play Bonehead in Dublin Crust.
Get your t-shirts, Dublin Crust t-shirts, 1 for 10, 2 for 25. They're waterproof, windproof, fireproof, you name it. Dublin Crust, make this moment a memory.
One thing we took away from talking to the cast and crew was how many amazing memories they have from their time making Dublin Crust.
Were there any real standout moments for you when you were filming? Anything that you remember that you were really proud of?
I think just how well all the cast connected. Like, I was only there for a couple of days,
Okay.
and everyone was so kind, so welcoming that you almost forget that it's work.
Yeah.
And I think that's the crazy thing is sometimes you do go into jobs and you're like, okay, this is a job, but certainly Dublin Crust for me, it felt like it was a group of friends hanging out, and you're like, okay, action cut, that's what we're listening for, but it was... For me, those were the standout moments, is how well we all connected.
I have to say, like, I loved every single day that I was working on set with everybody. The cast and crew were just so brilliant together, and it was so great to work with everyone. But one of my favourite days was working with the kid who played our son. Alex is his name, and he plays Jack. And he was just brilliant.
Yeah.
He was just brought in, and I mean, yeah, it was brilliant. He was so good. People always say, like, rule of thumb for an actor, never work with kids or animals. Apparently is the thing, but he was so easygoing, and it was such a lovely day. It was.
Yeah, I think there's a lovely long speech. There's an incompetent young barrister who's representing these guys.
Yeah.
And I have one lovely long speech where I just let him have it without taking a breath, and it just had to come out, and I had to just keep hammering this. So that was lovely to do, because I had the breath and it
amazing.
Kept going.
Was that our first time as well, or did you have to go back and do it every now and again?
We repeated a couple of times, but I got it right every time. I'm called First Take Tim's because I get it.
Phenomenal name.
If I was doing Hamlet, I wouldn't get it, but on the parts that I get, I do. Yeah.
The interview for Hot Press, the day we did the interview, it just felt so natural, and I'd been on set a couple of days with the guys.
Yeah.
And, it just felt like we had known each other for years and years, and we were just basically talking about our lives and talking about the band and the upcoming gig, and it just all felt so natural. And I remember sitting there looking around at the guys between takes and going, this just feels like I'm a band manager in a band. Yeah. And everything everything gelled, and everything just went so well.
I loved the scene. There's a lovely scene in where we were Dundalk. There's a venue, and it's kind of like a fight scene, and we had stunt coordinators, and we all got involved in the fighting.
Amazing.
And there was there must be about 20-30 extras there that day, and there was a lot of choreography, and that was a lot of fun. And I know it will look great, but I can't wait to see that scene.
I am so excited to see this movie. I'm absolutely buzzed.
Honestly, the highlight was definitely the in the hotel when we shot the gig scene.
Yeah,
that was really good, and it was a lot of fun. But it was the getting ready for that, the build up, was definitely the highlight for me, because it was all just a bit of crack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was tough going, but it was really good fun. And everybody bonded so much, because we were all like, we just want to get it done. We just want to shoot it. So it was great.
It went at a breakneck speed. I mean, it was hard to see standout moments. Yeah.
I was told 39 locations in a week or something.
There was about 32 locations in
32.
8 days. Yeah.
Oh my days. That's unreal.
So I was probably only on set for about 4 of them. I mean, maybe 2 acting, others helping out. One of the other roles I had was to help cast some of the roles, some of the characters.
Yeah.
Which you did. I've seen the movie a couple of times so far. Cillian Fitzgerald did the sound mix, so I introduced him to Baz, and we've been watching that the last couple of days, so it's sounding really great.
I think it was the final scene of the day, where it was quite a large crowd scene indoors at a concert, and because there was just so many of us, so many actors on set, you got to really see everyone and what they were bringing to the table, and it was just great energy. So I feel like the last day was my favourite day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I heard there was 32 locations in 4 days or something.
Yeah,
Mental.
it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
And how was that? How do you do that?
It was just a combined effort of everyone knowing what we wanted to get in the end goal. So we were like, just do it. Yeah. Let's just go out, let's just persevere, we'll get through it, and it'll be worth it in the end when the film's made, essentially.
Absolutely. So often you can be on a set, and I get it, there's so much pressure and money and time involved in putting anything like this together.
Yeah.
Tensions are up, people are snappy because people are just trying to get their work done and get paid and go home. So I think if you can create an environment where people feel a little bit comfortable enough to let the guard down, the deer in the headlights thing goes away a little bit, and everyone just feels a little bit more relaxed to be themselves off camera. I think you've created a really nice environment then for people to actually work and create and do their job properly, when it comes to go time. So I think our dynamic really kind of helps other people.
But even at the start, like on a work-related kind of thing, rather not just a friendly thing, but on a work thing, we worked so well together. Like trying to set up shots together. Like I can't take the credit for being the director of photography on this, because it was a whole, even with Baz and with Emma and all, like everybody else in the crew, like it was a huge communal thing. Everybody came together to help out and
proper dream
just,
team going.
Just to get the best out of it. But we worked so fast.
Oh man.
Because we shot it so quick. There wasn't too much room for decision making. It was like we didn't have any. We couldn't plan things out too much because there was so much to condense down.
We just need initiative, a lot of initiative.
And that's what it was. But that's where we really. Like, I think we shone that way.
We kind of thrive, and there was that trust there that I could set up lights that I think, off the top of my head, with the stuff that I know and my experiences before, I can roughly guess, not accurately, but just enough to get in the ballpark, and I can shout over to Aidan, are we good? Andrew, we're good, and I can trust that he's got it locked in, and he can trust that I've got it locked in, and we can, work like that.
And if we need changes with anything, it was like, we need this or we need that. Is this okay? Does this look okay? Are we good with this or not? And it was just straight away, it was either yes or no, and if it was a no, 30 seconds and we'd have something done, and it was ready to shoot. Like, I know on huge productions you've got time on your side, you've money, all that, but with this one we didn't have that time, so it was just, like you said, we had to trust everything. I think we did.
Just being a part of it in general, like seeing everyone, some people that were actors and things that I've seen before, other people just kind of coming out the woodwork, never done it before, and the experience you have, like, it was a real kind of homely thing. It was a real kind of family thing, everyone working together and that. So the highlight was just working with everyone. Like
the collaboration and the spirit and the joie de vivre of the shoot was just beautiful. Baz led it from the front really well. People were really patient, even though the energy demands was very high in everyone. I thought just the communal spirit of the film was kind of indie filmmaking at its best.
I really loved the scenes with my girlfriend in the movie. There's great. I really connected. We bonded, kind of. Not bonded, but there was a bit of magic between us. Sometimes, that's happened maybe in one other film where you really feel like you're in a relationship with someone.
Okay. Wow. All right.
A relationship that's not going well, but it really kind of clicked, and there's a couple of scenes where we have quite an intense kind of exchange, and not mad dramatic or anything, but just nice, quiet, tense exchanges, and that's what I loved. I loved those two scenes in the film. I did love being on stage playing the bass, and that.
And we turned up. One of the locations was car forecourt. And we got there, the forecourt that we had in mind. The guy never turned up.
What?
Yeah. So we were all sitting in the car going, what do we do? So, very creative, independent feature. We just used a regular car park and used cruise cars as the car park.
Absolutely genius.
We pivoted it on the spot.
I love editing because because I was there when everything was being shot, that just taking something and kind of like jigsawing it into something else. Because I know people who were there on the days, because we did get it done in such a short amount of time that it was stressful and chaotic. When you look back on the scenes that are quite chill, you don't realise what was going on behind that. So I really like the storytelling aspect of editing and trying to do stuff, to keep the pace going and that. So editing was my favourite part of it. I love costume design as well. That's the other thing.
There was one actually that we went full skeleton crew after doing the big robbery scene that's in the film, and then we went and shot the radio station scene, and it was late at night, so we just went down to our skeleton crew, which is like our core crew that had been working on it from the start, and that, I think we were a bit sleep deprived, but that was just like the most fun, because we were like, this is just crazy, and because we had like we had a cast of 38 and we had a crew of 24. So for that scene we went down, there was like 6 of us there, and it was just like we were like, this is crazy. We're making a feature film, and we just had so much fun. So that'd be a highlight.
That's amazing. It must be incredible to see your vision come to life, basically.
it's all there.
Yeah, it feels a bit surreal, you know. It's just, you know, when you're a kid, if anybody turned around to you, and I've always loved films since I was a kid, turned around to me and was like, do you know what, Baz, you're going to make a feature film when you're older, I would have been like, no, it was Hollywood. It was like, how do you even begin, you know, to make a feature film? So to be able to do it, to me, honestly, is a privilege. And it's no matter what else happens in my life, you're leaving that there, for better or worse or whatever. It's out there, it's done. And
leaving a legacy.
Yeah, and there's not much, you know, you can leave, but a legacy like that. That sounds a bit egotistical. It's like, you know, I just created this. I'm going to leave the earth with this gift as I depart. You're welcome.
My work here is done.
Smell that, Desmond. What's that, bonehead? That's the smell of freedom, that is. You behave yourself and you'll have it every day.
Don't you worry about me, Desi boy. Won't be seeing me back in this kip again.
One thing that is absolutely undeniable is the fact that writer and director Baz Black poured his heart and soul into this movie. And the cast and crew and people who know Baz could very easily see that.
Baz is amazing that he just puts his mind to something and he just does it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he a couple of years ago he had written a novel. He was like, oh, I have this idea for a story in my head. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah. And he just, over a couple of months, wrote a novel. And I was so nervous to read it. And I sat down, and I'll tell you, I'm dyslexic, so reading is a chore for me. But I just sat down and read it, and it was so easy to read. It was really interesting, and the story just flowed. And I think I read it in 2 days, and I don't do that. But I'm just always amazed by him that, like, he's so creative, but he'll just go and get things done, and I'd be quite like, you know, enamored of that like, you know, there's so many creative people out there, but just to be able to go, right, I'm going to do it, and I'm actually going to get it done from start to finish.
There's so many people that are like, oh, this is what I want to do, and I'll talk about it for like a year, in 2 years, and then whereas I find with Baz, obviously from talking to him, he's so driven, determined. It's just like, this is my idea. Oh, I've done this now. This is the next stage. Is what we're going to do. We just gets it done.
He's really driven. There's no holding him back. And in fact, when you think this was shot in March, and here we are just into December, and here we are fully post-production, ready to screen.
Very excited. I cannot wait.
He's the most one of the most dedicated, professional. If you could bottle what that guy has and sell it, we'd all be millionaires.
Yeah.
He should go around schools and give speeches to kids, because he is the epitome of outside 9 to 5 working in a factory. There's so many kids, and that's all they're destined for. You spend 5 minutes listening to him and you realise there's more to life than factory work.
And he gave everyone, you know, the freedom to, if there was a script and to change something, or if something didn't sound right, it was so easy to work with, and I'd have no qualms about working with him again in the future. It's been such a pleasure to work with him. Yeah. I wish him all the best with Dublin Crust. I'm sure it's going to be a great success, and he's a top.
He's a hustler. He's a hustler for work.
Dedicated.
He writes, he directs, he acts. He's got his. And again, talent will get you far, but hard work will get you farther. And the people that succeed in this business in Ireland anyway are the hustlers, the hard workers, and the people who are out there making their own work. I always say to them, no one's going to knock on your door and offer you work, and he's a perfect example of just going out and hustling for it and making his own stuff.
So
I
absolutely.
really respect that.
Dublin Crust wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the lessons learnt by Baz and a lot of the cast at Ireland's incredible acting school, Bow Street Academy. Tom sat down with acting coach and associate artistic director at Bow Street Academy, Sarah Hone, to talk all about Baz and his time at the academy.
I'm the associate artistic director in Bow Street Academy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know a lot of this crew. I actually taught Baz and about many of the cast, actually. So if they're shit, it's probably going to be a bit my fault. So sorry about that. Here's hoping.
It's like, where is she? Where is she? So how did you discover Baz? How did you first meet him?
He turned up to my class, and I was teaching character. And Baz was always kind of an individual, let's say, and he always used to write his own pieces, and I suppose I encouraged him to write because he has a real fire, and to this day Baz is probably the hardest working actor that I've ever met.
Hadn't noticed.
I know, right? Sitting around watching TV. No, I don't think he ever sleeps or eats. He's just always creating, and I suppose I saw that and encouraged that, and he is just gone from strength to strength, so we're all very proud of him.
So you're the reason why he hasn't slept in 3 or 4 days, and for all these little shorts that he's
the reason, but sure. Yes, so there's Bow Street Academy has a lot of actors in this particular piece. So we're producing the best actors in town, man.
When you have a film like Dublin Crust filled with heart and humour and life-affirming moments to think about in your own life, we wanted to know what the cast and crew thought were the important messages for the audience to take away from this movie.
What are you hoping people take away from this film?
I think it's a snapshot of well, not a snapshot, it's the movie, of course, but a movie of how society developed. I mean, these guys have changed. These guys change. The band changes over time. They get knocked by society, I think, and they come through. And I don't want to give away the...
well, obviously give too many spoilers,
But it's a journey through a society that itself was in transition. The judge actually changes in his attitude between the two scenes, and these guys change too, but they're still coming through. And then, I think they come out on top in the end. But you have to judge that when you see the film yourself.
I think, do you know what? I think Dublin Crust has the potential to be one of those weird cult following classics, that way. And I think that people will come away with seeing how true it is to reality. I think that Baz was very good in casting who he did and bringing that authenticity to it rather than making it feel so scripted that it just feels like you're watching actors on screen. It's real people at the end of the day, and it's real stories, and that's what I hope for.
Amazing. Well,
from reading the script, to be fair to Baz, it's very like Roddy Doyle. There's a lot of humour, but there's a real message and story throughout the film as well. So ultimately, I want people to enjoy the movie, but to come away kind of thinking, I'm not going to give away anything by saying what the underlying story is.
Don't give too much.
But when you see it, you'll be like, oh, okay, so it'll get conversations hopefully flowing, and ultimately put Baz up to that superstardom he deserves to be on, because without him, this movie wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
It's not I think you'll get maybe a sense of different type of Irish filmmaking. So it's not I don't think it's a stereotypical Irish story. And I think that you'll be able to take bits and pieces from that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember watching The Commitments back in the 90s, and it's one of those films where something happens, you see other films, or you see something happen in your own life and you kind of relate it to The Commitments. Commitments really was an Irish Dublin film.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't kind of based in Dublin, but I think when people watch this, obviously I think it's going to be compared to the Commitments. Even in that sense, if it is compared to the Commitments, it'll be a positive. But I think when they watch this, they will automatically remember the Commitments as well. I think it's going to be really good, and people will really like the film.
Literally to just go and have as much fun as they can, to try and emotionally empathise with some of the characters and what's happening, and again, to have a good time. Sometimes you just need to watch a film and go, that's a great fucking film.
Basically,
and I see people. I think people are going to take different things in the film. It's all about what you're bringing to it. But once people are enjoying themselves and once they're having a bit of crack with it, that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah.
There's times to be soulful, and this film has it. There's times to be fun, and times to be naughty, and I think the film has a bit of everything.
I think it's an optimistic movie. The idea of plugging away and getting there in the end, which a lot of artists or musicians or artists or actors or whatever would take comfort from or whatever. Because it's a struggle at times to be in music or to be in the arts or whatever, and to just keep plugging away at it.
Yes, absolutely.
When they see it, well, like even tonight watching it back, the kind of I'm trying to think of the lingo, but the payoff at the end of the film I was kind of getting emotional at that payoff, which isn't like this big, huge, massive thing, but to them it is. And I kind of felt that way tonight about like it's done, and to appreciate, like small achievements, they can be very important, or the people in your life, things like that. So I'm not the most articulate person, but it's just not everything has to be big on a massive scale. A lot of people now think, Instagram, I need to have 1 million followers, and this kind of like, oh well, if I'm not comparing myself to this massive person, but you can have huge achievements on a smaller scale and be super proud of them, and I think that's what I hope people take from the film.
Oh, I loved it. I'm so proud of him. It's such an amazing film. Like during the whole process, I've been seeing like little snippets, and I hound him over updates every single day. So it's nice seeing full circle. And he still wouldn't tell me everything, of course, because he wanted some of it to be a surprise. So it was nice seeing the finished, feature. But it's incredible, and even if you're not into punk, you're going to love Crust. So I feel like it'll hit every kind of audience.
I think it will fucking do well. I think it's going to smash it myself.
Especially after 2 standing ovations. Well, like, where will you get it? Where will you get it?
The most important thing about the film is, it's based on my life experiences, so I come from that world, and the last thing I want was it to feel unauthentic, get the naturalism of it, because it is my world and I lived and breathed this, so it's a hard line, because there is comedy in it, and you want to mix that with the drama and the comedy, and the whole reason that the script will work is that you're emotionally invested in the characters, because there's no payoff if you don't, so building their stories and their arcs and stuff like that. But I just hope people enjoy it and take little people have come up to me, and there's some people crying. There was some people that there was lines and they've taken them down on their phone, and they're like that just gave me a whole new perspective on life and stuff like that.
Wow.
And I was like, some of the comments on that are not what I expected at all, and how they picked up on that, and it could be something flippant that I wouldn't think about, and they're like, oh my god, that line. Or I had someone go there, oh, my ex-boyfriend was on drugs, and I had a friend who had this and that. And so if they can relate to it in that manner, and have fun with it, because it is a fun movie. It's about punk, and there's dark undertones and that, but there is the element of fun there. So just switch off and enjoy it. So I think that's...
So how does it feel to finally see your hard work and sleepless nights pay off as you see your movie on the big screen with an audience for the first time? Tom talks to Baz straight after the screening to get his thoughts and feelings.
2 standing ovations. How are you feeling?
They have to do that at a premiere.
Everyone's getting their tips at the end when they walk out.
We don't count that as anything. But it was amazing, and watching it with a crowd. But I was in a pool of my own sweat. All I can see are the mistakes, but just to watch it in a room with a live audience and see their reactions, it gives you a whole new perspective after being sitting in the edit room for the last 6 months.
So you've had quite the slog. When was the last time you slept?
Had 6 hours sleep in 3 days, so we just had to, we put ourselves under a deadline to get this done now, and to get a feature film done in 9 months to where it is now is it's good going, so we put ourselves under a lot of pressure, but I was just glad that we got to this stage and people get to see it.
I have to say, without obviously giving it away, smashed it. Absolutely loved it.
Again, you have to say that.
No, I know I do. I love me 100 year after I've left.
I flew you over here.
Well, this is very true.
Yeah, there's no flight back.
Fuck.
But it's crazy. I just never thought we would get to do it, and it's a privilege. I love it.
And to have a little Moonbeams appear as well.
To see the reaction?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even I wanted to jump out my seat.
Yeah, every time in the edit room, and I must have seen this about 1,000 times now, but every time she comes on, I'm like, it's Moo. It's Moo. And she did so good.
She smashed it.
Yeah, she's full method. She's like...
Has it gone to her head, though?
Yeah, she's really hard to work with. She's worse than me, and that's saying a lot.
Oh, Jesus Christ, fucking hell.
That is bad.
Oh, no, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're on about. So, smashed it out of the park. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Excellent, my friend. Baz, thank you so
Thanks
much.
a million, man.
Really loved it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have you had a pint of Guinness yet?
I'm on my second.
Oh, well, that's not very professional.
No, I know.
Things. So
Okay.
the only bad thing I'll say is that my changing room, I didn't have a trailer or anything. I just had to, it was kind of down the back and around the corner.
Unacceptable.
So yeah, it kind of was. I was willing to overlook it, but next time, for Dublin Crust, crustier, the sequel, we'll have all that. Yeah.
I'm very interested. I don't. Do you know? I don't really know what to expect. I've heard that it's a mixture of what did he say? The commitments. What else? Did you see that little spiel? He said it's a mixture of the commitments, something, and something.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. I mean, that's right up my alley. So I'm 100% down for that.
The second something is what I'm most looking forward to.
The second. The second.
Yeah,
I was more the third. But
yeah, right. Sorry. The way I said it, I know, right?